Hey everyone, it's Devin with Stessa. We know it's challenging times right now, especially for a lot of tenants, and that means that things are going to get tough for landlords too. So here's one of the things we've done in the last couple weeks to try to give you a little bit better sense as to how to plan for the future, what might be in store, and how things are shaping up for your portfolio. So it's called a stress test, and it's something that folks in commercial real estate run all the time to kind of give them a little bit more comfort with a potential downside scenario. What happens if there's an economic downturn, which it seems like is increasingly likely, and what happens when rents don't come in as you expect. So here's how it works. From your dashboard, you want to go to the transactions page. Once you're there, up here in the upper right corner, there's a reports button, which I'm sure you're aware of. Go ahead and click that, check stress test. And you can choose the entire portfolio. I'll just choose one property to show you how it works. We'll do Kevin's Way, which is one of our demo properties. Right here, this is where you set up your scenario. So what percentage of rent do you expect to collect? So let's run it at 70% for now. You can always change this later in the Excel file if you want. And let's look at it over the next 6 months. So we'll say download here. Here's your report down here. We'll double click that, open it up. We'll zoom in here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is the summary page. Let's look at the property detail page. If you're running this for an entire portfolio, you'll get one tab for each property, so you can look at them separately, and then the summary will roll everything up for you. So here's the stress test for the Kevin's Way property. In this pro forma column, you'll see everything that you've inputted into Stessa previously. So this is normal situation. If everything meets expectations, you collect the rent as expected. That's the pro forma situation. The projected, this column, this is based on that 70% variable we inputted earlier. So $910 a month, that's 70% of the $1,300 expected. So here you see those numbers for both of the two units. The total monthly expectation in this tougher economic scenario. You can add in, if tenants are going to make a lump sum payment at some point, you can add that in here to other monthly if you like to model that. And then here you can compare your monthly gross expectations. And then this is just this number multiplied by 6 for the 6 months. So you can see there's about a $3,870 shortfall expected under this scenario. You can also model your expenses. So let's say you thought you could get your R&M down to $50 a month during these tough times, and maybe your utilities down to $125. So you'd save some money there. This column should pull from all your existing Stessa data, so nothing to do there. So you're going to save a little money on expenses. That's going to help out with the differential here. And then this shows your projected NOI over the 6 months based on the 70% collections versus your typical pro forma. Down here, you can see we've also included your mortgage situation. So if you're in forbearance or you have something worked out with your lender, you can model that in this cell right here to help yourself out. Otherwise, that'll just flow through, and you can see here 6-month net cash flow, kind of getting close to break even. So that's that 30% discount on the rent really eats up a lot of the expected net cash flow. So this is a great way to get a feel for how sensitive your portfolio is to a certain percentage decline in collections. Down here at the bottom, we've also thrown in the cash balances that are available in all of your linked accounts that Stessa is aware of and that are tied to this property. So you can see this is a great way to compare cash in the bank versus your expected income or shortfall. So if we had run this all the way down to, like, let's say we're only going to get 40% of collections, you'd see a negative number here, and this is a great spot where you can kind of compare that to the cash you have in the bank and see if that's going to be enough to get you through the 6 months. On the summary page, we make that comparison a little more obvious. By the way, this is also where you can go ahead and change the 70%. So we can just make this 50% here, and those numbers will then flow through to the model. You can look at it 12 months instead. So you don't have to log back into Stessa and run another stress test with different assumptions. You can actually change them right here in the model because we've built in the portfolios and the flexibility, the formulas and the flexibility for you. So this just kind of rolls everything up. If you had a bunch more properties in the portfolio, you'd see all this numbers summed here. And this gives you your projected cash balance after the 12 months. So obviously, because there's only one property here, these two columns are the same since it's property and total. But here's your 12-month cash flow expected, negative 4,758. You compare that to the 9,045 that's in your bank accounts right now, and you're left with this resulting cash balance after, because I changed it to 12 months, after 12 months of 4287. So that's the stress test. We hope it's helpful. Play around with it. Give us whatever feedback you have. If we missed something or you'd like to see a tweak or two, let us know. There's a new feature for us and for you. And good luck in the next few weeks.